Greetings. Today we're here to live Bess's ultimate dream. Authentic Louisiana style gumbo in New Orleans. Or at least, fingers crossed that it's authentic style. Either way, it's pretty delicious and I think you're going to enjoy this recipe. So let's get started, shall we?
Yes!
We are making a family or party-sized amount today, so be pre-warned, this is going to make quite a bit. We're going to take our pot and get our burner heating to about medium-low, and then we're going to take 4 tablespoons of butter, put that in our pot, and get that completely melted. We just found out about the summer cook-off contest, which if you haven't heard about that, passing the favor along, go check out the Her Interactive website. There is a contest going on right now for foods from or inspired by the Nancy Drew games. So this gumbo recipe here will be our first entry, as we are trying to recreate as accurately as possible the Seafood Gumbo from Granny Pumpkin's Cajun cooking food truck that Bess gets to eat at repeatedly in Legend of the Crystal Skull.
The main thing I remember from that was the alligator who liked marshmallows.
I remember how much I hated the wasps. Those
wasps?
Dumb old wasps. Alright, so our butter is nice and melted, and we are going to take a 1/4 cup of flour and add this in here. This is going to create our roux, but the one thing we want to make sure you're doing during this process is whisk it nice and constantly. We're going to want to get this nice and dark, somewhere between the color of caramel and milk chocolate. Anywhere in that like window is pretty good, but we're going to go for more of a milk chocolate color today. Make sure that you do have your vegetables cut up in advance if you're making this by yourself, because you're not going to be able to leave your roux unattended while you cut up your veggies without risking burning it. If you're in a rush to get your roux to hurry up and brown, you can do this on medium heat instead of medium low. Just be warned that you will definitely need to stir it constantly because you will risk burning it. If it burns, scrap that and start over, because you do not want burnt roux flavor in the rest of your gumbo, because it will come through all the other flavors. So what do we know about this gumbo from the game, since we're recreating it as identically as possible? We know that it is seafood gumbo, that it has shrimp in it, and that if you look at the picture, it has sausage in it. We also know from looking at the gumbo, it's a very red gumbo. It doesn't have a lot of other colors going on. So while a traditional gumbo, you're going to want your onions and bell pepper and celery, we are using a red bell pepper for this instead of green. You can use green, but you're not going to get quite as game accurate of a look, just because we want everything to be red. Alright, our roux is looking pretty good. So now we're going to add our cut up celery, onion, and red pepper in there. Woo! And that oil is very hot, so just be careful to not splash yourself. And we're going to stir this and keep it going until these veggies start to wilt down a little. Again, you're going to want to keep this pretty well stirred. So our onions are starting to turn a little clearer and our veggies are starting to cook down. We're going to take 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, minced up nicely, and throw that in there too. And we're going to let that cook for about another 2 minutes. So let's talk sausage. While this is labeled as a seafood gumbo, it still very visibly has sausage in it. So if you can't find anything else, it is okay for you to go ahead and use a good kielbasa, but if you can find it, and it's definitely worth hunting around the different stores in your area to see if you can find it, use andouille, just because that's going to have a much better flavor for this item. Now that your garlic's getting all nice and fragrant, it's time to throw in most of the rest of the ingredients. We're going to throw in our sausage, which we've cut into little coin-sized shapes.
Very thick coins.
We have a 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes. We're using fire roasted. Again, it's okay if you don't use fire roasted, but again, I do definitely recommend it. We've also got 2 cups of chicken broth. We're going to pour that on in. That'll be our liquid. And then we've got 1 can of red kidney beans. We're going to drain these off and add the beans in there too. Next, we're going to add a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. This is what we're using today, but you can use whatever your favorite or preferred kind is if you have a preference. The Cajun seasoning does have salt, so this is going to be a little salty unless you do choose to use a low sodium chicken broth. Then we're going to add 1 or 2 bay leaves. If you've got a really big bay leaf, you can just do 1, but these aren't that huge, so I'm going to do 2. And now I'm going to cut the heat up to medium-high. We're going to bring this to a boil. And then once your gumbo mixture starts to boil, we're going to go ahead and cut this back to low, cover it, and we're going to simmer this for a solid hour. You can cook it a little bit longer if you want to, but an hour is a good minimum amount. Make sure you do stir it occasionally throughout that time, but for the most part we're just going to let it be, and we'll be back in an hour to see how it's looking. It's been an hour, time to check on it and see how it's looking. It does smell good. Alright, but we're about to make it even better. So we have a ½ pound of shrimp, and we're going to add that in there and cook the gumbo for about another 10 minutes until the shrimp is cooked through. Also, while the gumbo was cooking for this last while, we started some rice. However much you do of that is up to you. At this point, if you haven't already started some rice, go ahead and do that. It's fine if your gumbo cooks a little bit long. But cook some rice, and then you're going to want to take a few green onions and chop those up to put on top as a garnish.
10 minutes, and we're back.
And it's time to plate this and see how it is.
So we're going to try to plate this as game accurately as we can, using a picture from the game that we have.
But we don't have the same bowl, so I mean, there goes that already.
We want it to look the same in the bowl. The bowl is different, so yes. Bear with us, please.
First off, we'll start with a nice little mound of rice in the middle of the bowl, and then we're going to pour some gumbo around it. Time to find out how it really is. Let's try it. Yum. Oh, and one final note, however thick or thin you want this is up to you. You can stop cooking it while it's still soupy, or you can keep cooking it for another hour or more until it's really thick.
So good.
Better than the chowder we made, or about as good?
Okay, hey, do not, the chowder, it's hard to beat, guys. This is amazing though. Let me try with a piece of sausage.
That green onion ties it all together.
Seriously good.
Okay, but there's one thing that we're missing to make it really accurate. Ready to breathe some fire?
Yes. Do you want me to put it over the whole thing?
No. And you don't have to put a lot. We're just gonna hot sauce up a little of it.
We're not trying to send anyone away right now.
Yeah, we're not actually trying to like put us out of commission for a little while, like Bess did to that poor guy. But I mean, it's good with it too. I will say, this has definitely been one of the more worthwhile things for me from starting this whole recipe video tutorial journey. Is that, like I said, I've never actually eaten or made gumbo before we decided to start doing the game recipes, so to trying new things and finding new favorites. But this is kind of awkward standing here eating it high and holding the bowl high enough, a very hot, heavy bowl, high enough that you can all see it. So we're gonna continue on our merry way and eat this.
Onion, it is good.
But you think even beginners can tackle this gumbo?
Yes, the main thing is just letting it sit there and cook for a while. So stirring occasionally, you got it.
But I can see why Bess liked it. It's really good. Like, really good. Like, this is a massive bowl. We're gonna go and clean the whole thing, so please excuse us while we do that. We will be back again, of course, with another video, but we may be posting a little bit less frequently through mid-August. Since the summer cookout contest is going on, we might take a brief pause from working our way through the games numerically in order, and we might work on a couple specific things. But we will definitely get back to posting. We will still be posting some, we just might not be posting every single Tuesday for a while, and we might be posting a few things out of order, so we'll see. Anyway, again, thank you for letting us know about it, and we are going to be enjoying this. So, bye for now. Looking forward to seeing everyone's great ideas for the contest, getting inspired, trying y'all's ideas. So definitely, if you're entering the contest, make a note of your recipe that you're using so we can try that too, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.